I've got 5 tips to help make your theme park vacation go a little bit smoother. But the catch is, I think some of you aren't gonna like any of them. Everyone wants to have a good time, right? And everyone wants the solutions to their problems to be simple, straightforward, you know? No one really wants to beat around the bush. And I think for the most part, most solutions are simple, maybe even too simple. Which is why today, before we even dig into things, I'm gonna make you 2 promises. Promise number 1, you've heard this before. This stuff isn't new. You've probably heard people share these tips, these little tidbits. You probably already know this stuff. So without a doubt, none of what we're talking about today is gonna be the revelation I think some of you might be hoping for, which leads us to promise number 2, because what we're talking about today isn't some super complex 10-step program with downloadables that are gonna walk you through the whole process. I think that what I have to say isn't gonna, well, it's not what some of you are looking for. Still, most of this, tried and true, very effective. Anyway, shall we begin? Number 1, arrive early. Now look, this is advice that you've heard plenty of people talk about more often than you probably would like to hear. And the reason it's such a common topic, the reason that you always hear people say things like arrive early, rope drop, get there before the park opens, is because it's such an effective way to solve so many of the problems that you find yourself having, especially if you're someone who doesn't want to just throw money at every problem, or can't throw money at every problem. Getting a good parking spot, priority parking, standard parking. Beating the crowds, being able to get your hands on that merchandise that you've been really looking forward to, or eating without an exorbitantly long wait. All of these things can be resolved by simply arriving early. And yes, there are 10,000 reasons as to why this isn't the right option for you and your family. And if it's not the right option, that's fine. But it doesn't change the fact that it's probably one of the most reliable solutions to some of the most common problems, and it costs you nothing. Number 2 on the list, realize that the things that matter to your kids are definitely not the same things that matter to you. In fact, I'd put money on the fact that half of what you're wrapped around the axles about, your kids couldn't care less about. This could translate to a lot of different things when we talk about a theme park environment, but for the sake of today's discussion, I want to focus in on snacks, because this is one of those things that, again, it's something that when you need it, you need it. It can be really expensive if you end up buying it in the parks. And every time we've talked about this before, I hear the same thing over and over. But I don't want to bring it from home because it's more magical if I get it from Disney. Yeah, and it's more expensive too. Look, the fact of the matter is when we're talking about things like snacks or even small souvenirs, especially for little ones, you can save a lot of time, money, energy, and stress, quite frankly, having that stuff with you as opposed to having to find it once you get here. This is like so true when it comes to snacks. I mean, no one wants a hangry kid. No one wants a hangry mom or dad either, I'm just saying. But also, no one wants to spend $6, $7 on some crackers when you could have spent that same amount on 3 times as much at your local grocery store, let alone if there was some sort of deal running that you could have taken advantage of. And yes, again, there are 1,000 excuses as to why this isn't the way to go. There's not as much magic in the same goldfish crackers that you could get from Walmart as the goldfish crackers that you could get here. That's simply not true. Honestly, the goldfish crackers here, they're not even that good. But to my point here, your kids don't care that you bought those crackers here versus brought them from home. They don't care that you got that tiny little Mickey Mouse plushie from Walmart on sale as opposed to here at whatever store is in whatever park you're at. And yeah, we're talking Disney stuff, but this applies to everywhere. Licensed merch is around, ripe for the picking, and at a variety of price points that might be better for you and your family than you can find here in the theme park. So take advantage of it, bring it with you. Maybe even create some magical moments because you could afford to get your kid, 12 little stuffies from the dollar store as opposed to like just being able to scrape by buying one at the gift shop. Also, going the route of buying snacks and bringing some with you doesn't mean that you have to skip out entirely on stuff that's here in the parks. It just means that you're not wasting money on the stuff that you need because you just needed to grab a bite to eat, and you can waste that money in air quotes, because it's really not a waste if it's something that you want, on something that you might not have sprung for because it was a little bit too expensive, you know? So it's all about prioritization, deciding what it is that you want and doing what's necessary to make sure that you can have it without breaking the bank. Of course, this also goes beyond things like snacks. We could say the same thing for different attractions or experiences that your kids want to do and when they want to do them. You know, kids get that spark to do the thing when they're most interested in. They might not have that spark later on today when it's most convenient for you. So, you know, take advantage of that. Let them have that little bit of magic in the moment. I mention that example because I see it all the time. In fact, I saw it happen as we were making our way into the park today. Number 3, you should be using what your favorite content creators say as a tool, not a rule. Look, there's no way around it. There are a lot of people out there with a lot of opinions on a lot of different things. And those opinions are usually based in experiences. And everyone's experience is going to be different because everyone not only has different life experiences that make certain things more important or less important to them, but also everyone's circumstances are going to be different. There are going to be people who have kids and they do things, they're motivated by things because of their kids. There are people who don't have kids but have worked with kids. And so they have a set of skills that help them develop certain opinions and come up with certain guidance that might be helpful. And then there are people who have certain types of motivations. They're here to only show you the amazing things. And then there are other people who have other types of motivations. They're here to give you a little bit more of a real view. They have more of a travel focus as opposed to like a theme park magic focus. None of this is bad. In fact, it's fantastic that everyone has different experiences to draw from and share information about. But when you combine that with the fact that content creators, myself included, don't know you personally or your circumstances or what it is that you're dealing with, it makes one thing really, really clear. Though lots of people overlook it. Not every content creator, arguably no content creator out there has all of the answers, certainly not all the specific answers to your specific problems or questions. We can do our best to provide guidance and give you an example of what the right route might look like or could look like, but you're the one who has to choose which route is best for you. It's really important to keep that in mind, especially when we're talking about certain content creators who push the theme parks to their limits. This isn't something that every creator will do. You know, everyone has their own style, but the ones who do, they're not experiencing the parks in the way that you really want to experience the parks. They're doing what they can to find where the problems are so that they can tell you what the solutions to those problems might be. This is something that I do. I know there are a lot of other creators out there who do the same. We try and push things because without pushing them, we don't know how to fix the problems. So know that is what some creators do doable? Absolutely. Is it feasible? Not always. Is it something you can challenge yourself to? Yes, but that's very different than doing a vacation with your family. And understanding the difference is really important. Number 4, plan breaks. Make sure that you're planning time to rest while you're on vacation. This is another one of those things that everyone talks about and just as many people scoff at. Listen, theme park vacations aren't a walk in the park, despite the fact that that's basically what you're going to be doing all day long. It's a lot of work to be spending so much time outside, especially when we're talking about places like Florida. It's hot, it's humid, it's probably not what most of you are used to, especially if you're escaping the weather up north. You're spending a lot of time on your feet, you're putting in a significant number of miles, and you're probably doing it dehydrated and underfed. I know that that sounds crazy, but it's true. When you put that together with all of the time that it took you to get here, all of the travel time, which can sometimes be very stressful, and all of the stress of day-to-day life that you're trying to escape, you're not going to survive with grace if you don't take time to rest and relax while you're here. And I know it can be very tempting to fill every second of every day, but that's also the quickest way to, you know, again, all of the problems that you want to avoid. The stress, the cranky kid, the cranky mom, the cranky dad, the cranky grandma and grandpa. No one wants that. A simple rest day when you arrive or in the middle of your trip, or taking time off midday to go soak in the pool, that can do wonders for your vacation. And it can end up being more memorable than the time that you spend in the parks. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Take time to rest. Honestly, once you try it, you'll never go back, and you can thank me later. And finally, number 5, clearly define your trip and why you're here. Look, is this a vacation where you just want to sit by the pool, sleep in, sip cocktails? Or are you here to see and do all the things with the plan to go, 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 and then rest once you get back home? Are you in it for the food? Are you in it for the rides? Why are you here? Figuring this out is incredibly important for a long list of reasons. Number one, because your time is precious. You only have so much of it off if you're like 90% of everyone else out there. So you don't want to waste it doing something that you didn't actually want to do or going to a place that didn't really appeal to you. But also defining what it is that you want out of your vacation, getting that all squared away before you even plan your trip allows you to shop around for the experience that's going to be right for you and your family, and it might not be the experience that you initially thought. Look, I'm going to say something to you that you don't hear a lot of people at Walt Disney World Resort wearing Walt Disney World t-shirts say, okay? Not every theme park, not every resort is going to be right for everybody. They're all unique in their own way. They all have their own pros and cons. They all appeal to people who are trying to achieve a certain thing. And yes, the cult of unapologetic and unrelenting fans of a place will not like admitting that their place isn't right for everybody. Don't believe me? Let me prove it. Magic Kingdom is a very skippable park. Just let that one bake in the comment section. But it's just a fact. Different people like different things. Different people have different priorities, and each different theme park out there is going to appeal to those priorities in a different way. That's not to say that not everyone can find something to enjoy no matter where they go. You absolutely can. But if you have to put all your eggs in one basket for one reason or another, it might as well be the right basket. Am I wrong? Chef's kiss. 10 out of 10 with that license plate. So there it is, 5 things. I told you they would be relatively simple. I told you that they'd be things that you know and probably some of you wouldn't like, but they're effective. They're tried and true. That's why you hear them so often. So take it or leave it. It makes no difference to me, but I genuinely hope that you'll give some of these a try during your next vacation because I think that they do make a huge difference. But let me know your thoughts. Either way, it was a nice day. It ended up turning out pretty nice. Sun came out. What more could you ask for? See you next time.